On a quiet morning in early June, Earth seemed peaceful. Sunlight streamed through the windows of homes in every city, and people moved about their daily routines, unaware of the storm brewing in the depths of space. But far away, a menacing fleet of alien ships known as the Draxians plotted their attack on the small blue planet. The Draxians had long viewed Earth as an insignificant world, but their leaders had grown tired of waiting. They wanted to make an example of humanity. As the first waves of the Draxian fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, chaos erupted. Bright flashes of light illuminated the sky as they unleashed their destructive weapons. Cities that had stood for centuries crumbled under the relentless barrage. New York, Tokyo, Paris, each was hit hard, with buildings collapsing and fires raging. In just a matter of hours, millions of lives were lost, and entire communities were shattered. Among the survivors was Sarah, a school teacher in Chicago. She had just finished grading papers when the attack began. At first, she thought it was a drill. The loud sirens and flashing lights felt like something out of a movie. But as she looked out her window, her heart sank. The sky was filled with Draxian ships, their dark silhouettes looming over the city like harbingers of doom. She grabbed her daughter, Lily, and flowed into the street, where chaos reigned. People were screaming, running, and crying. Sarah held Lily tightly, determined to protect her. They managed to find shelter in a nearby subway station, where others were gathering in fear. Together, they listened to the sounds of destruction above, praying to survive. This moment marked a turning point for humanity. Until now, they had lived in a world of peace, unaware of the dangers lurking in the universe. Meanwhile, leaders from around the world gathered in emergency meetings. They realized that the Draxians had underestimated humanity's spirit. In a secure bunker, military commanders, scientists, and politicians came together to strategize. The time for complacency was over. They needed a plan, and they needed it fast. As they discussed the situation, an idea began to take shape. What if they could turn the tables on their attackers? The Draxians had superior technology, but humans were known for their ingenuity. If they could reverse engineer the wreckage of the ships that had fallen to Earth, perhaps they could create advanced weapons of their own. The room buzzed with a mix of fear and determination. Sarah, back at the subway station, comforted Lily, who was trembling. "We're going to be okay," she said, even as uncertainty clouded her mind. The world had changed forever. No longer would they be just another planet in the galaxy. They would fight back. The fire of revenge ignited in the hearts of many. The war had begun, and humanity was ready to defend their home. The Galactic Council, a powerful assembly of alien races, watched with a mix of disbelief and interest. They had long dismissed Earth as a minor player in the cosmos, but now they were witnessing the awakening of a species. As the Council debated what this meant for the galaxy, the fate of humanity hung in the balance, and Earth was about to make its mark on the universe. Gathering forces. In the aftermath of the Draxian attack, a sense of urgency swept across Earth. The leaders of nations convened in a high-security underground facility, known as the Global Defense Center. Here, military generals, scientists, and diplomats gathered to discuss the future of humanity. The air was thick with tension as they faced the reality of their situation. They had to act quickly and decisively to protect their home. General Ramirez, a tall man with graying hair and a serious expression, stepped forward. "We have to unite as one planet. The Draxians think they can destroy us because they see us as weak. We need to show them we are strong." His voice rang with determination, igniting a spark of hope in the room. Dr. Chen, a brilliant scientist known for her work in advanced technology, added, "We must reverse engineer the technology from the wreckage. If we can understand how their ships work, we can create weapons of our own." Her eyes lit up with excitement at the possibility of using Draxian technology against its creators. As the discussions continued, a new plan began to take shape. They decided to form a team of the best minds from around the globe, combining military strategy with scientific expertise. This elite group would be responsible for developing a powerful warship that could stand against the Draxians. They named it the Revenant, a symbol of humanity's return from the brink of destruction. News of the Global Defense Center's mission spread quickly. Across the world, people were inspired to do their part. Engineers, programmers, and researchers volunteered their skills, eager to help create the technologies needed for their survival. Universities opened their doors to those who wanted to contribute, and soon, cities buzzed with innovation. Meanwhile, Sarah and her daughter Lily were trying to adapt to the new reality. They had lost their home, but their spirits remained unbroken. Sarah had always believed in the power of education, and now she found herself teaching Lily about resilience and courage. "We will help rebuild our world," she told her, a fire igniting in her heart. Back at the Global Defense Center, the elite team assembled. Among them was Captain Jameson, a decorated war hero known for his tactical brilliance. He was tasked with leading the crew of the Revenant. "We are fighting not just for ourselves, but for everyone on this planet," he declared, rallying the team with his passion. As they began to design the warship, each member contributed their expertise. Engineers worked day and night, piecing together the best elements of Draxian technology with Earth's own innovations. The team faced challenges and setbacks, but they pushed through, driven by a shared sense of purpose. Weeks turned into months, and slowly the Revenant took shape. It was a massive ship, bristling with weapons and advanced systems designed to counter the Draxians. Each detail was meticulously crafted, a testament to humanity's ingenuity. At the same time, they gathered allies. Earth's leaders reached out to other planets that had suffered under Draxian rule. Many were eager to join the fight, forming a coalition of races united against a common enemy. As the coalition grew, so did humanity's resolve. Finally, the day came when the Revenant was ready for its first test flight. As Captain Jameson and his crew boarded the ship, they felt the weight of responsibility on their shoulders. They were no longer just Earthlings. They were the defenders of their world, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the engines roared to life, Sarah and millions of others looked up at the sky, filled with hope. The fight was just beginning, but humanity was ready to take a stand. The Galactic Council watched closely, realizing that Earth was transforming into a force to be reckoned with. The first strike. The sun rose on the day of the Revenant's maiden voyage, casting golden light over the launch site. Excitement buzzed through the air as soldiers, scientists, and engineers gathered to witness history. Captain Jameson stood on the bridge, his heart pounding with anticipation. Today was not just about testing the ship. It was about sending a message to the Draxians. Earth would not be an easy target. After weeks of hard work and dedication, the crew was ready. The control room was filled with monitors displaying various data, and technicians ensured everything was in perfect order. Captain Jameson turned to his crew. "Today, we show them our strength. We are here to fight for our planet. Are you with me?" A chorus of "Yes, sir," echoed through the cabin, filling him with confidence. He could see the determination in their eyes. They were ready for battle. As the Revenant lifted off the ground, cheers erupted from the crowd below. The ship soared into the sky, breaking through the clouds and entering the vastness of space. Inside, the crew was focused, their fingers dancing over the controls as they prepared for their first mission. They had a target, a Draxian supply outpost located on a nearby asteroid. The journey to the asteroid took only a few hours, and during that time, the crew ran simulations and rehearsed their battle plan. They knew the Draxians would not expect an attack from Earth, and they intended to catch them off guard. The asteroids in this sector were often used by the Draxians to store weapons and resources, making it a perfect target for their first strike. As they approached the asteroid, Captain Jameson initiated a stealth mode, dimming the ship's lights and cutting off unnecessary systems. The Revenant glided silently toward the outpost, blending in with the shadows of the asteroids. Jameson's heart raced as he scanned the area through the ship's sensors. There it was, a small, heavily guarded base teeming with Draxian soldiers. "Prepare for engagement," he commanded, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. The crew sprang into action, arming the ship's weapons and locking onto the target. "Firing sequence ready," shouted Lieutenant Morgan, the weapons officer. "On my mark," Captain Jameson replied, his gaze fixed on the outpost. 3, 2, 1, mark. With a sudden jolt, the Revenant unleashed a barrage of missiles, lighting up the dark void of space. Explosions rocked the asteroid as the missiles struck their targets, sending debris flying in all directions. The crew erupted in cheers, but they knew the battle had just begun. The Draxians quickly scrambled into action. Alarms blared, and their ships launched into the fray. But the humans had the element of surprise on their side. The Revenant darted among the asteroids, evading fire and returning it with precision. "Keep moving. Don't let them lock onto us," Jameson shouted. His heart raced as he maneuvered the ship, expertly dodging incoming blasts while coordinating the crew's fire. Each shot found its mark, and one by one, the Draxian ships fell. As the battle raged on, the crew worked in perfect harmony. Lieutenant Morgan fired the main cannons while Engineer Patel made quick adjustments to maximize their energy output. With every victory, the humans grew bolder, their resolve hardening with each enemy ship that exploded into fiery shards. Finally, after an intense exchange, the Draxian supply outpost lay in ruins, a testament to humanity's strength. Cheers filled the cabin as the crew celebrated their first victory. Captain Jameson couldn't help but smile. "We did it. This is just the beginning. Let's head back to Earth and show everyone what we're capable of." As the Revenant turned to return home, the crew knew they had sent a clear message to the Draxians and the Galactic Council. Earth was no longer a minor player in the galaxy. They had awakened a force ready to defend its home and take on any challenge that lay ahead. The Galactic Council's dilemma. Across the galaxy, the Galactic Council convened in a grand chamber on their central planet, Eldara. Representatives from different alien species gathered, each one bringing their own perspective on the shocking news that had traveled through the stars. The walls of the chamber were adorned with symbols from countless worlds, but today they were filled with an air of uncertainty and concern. Chancellor Zira, a tall, elegant being with shimmering skin that reflected the light in rainbow hues, opened the meeting. "Fellow council members, we are here to discuss the recent developments concerning Earth. The humans have struck a decisive blow against the Draxians, and we must determine our course of action." A murmur spread across the room. Many council members had long viewed humanity as primitive and insignificant. The Draxians had often bullied Earth, and the council had dismissed the humans as unworthy of attention. Now they were faced with the reality of an awakened species that had just successfully attacked a Draxian outpost. "Should we intervene?" asked Commander Tharn, a brutish warrior from the planet Freka. His voice was deep and commanding, echoing through the chamber. "The Draxians are our allies. If the humans continue to attack them, it could destabilize the balance of power in the galaxy." "Yes, but look at the situation from another angle," replied Ilya, a wise diplomat from the peaceful planet of Lyra. "The Draxians have oppressed many worlds, including Earth. If humanity can rise up against them, it may inspire others to join in the fight. This could lead to a revolution across the galaxy. But if we support the humans, we risk losing the Draxians as allies," Commander Tharn countered, crossing his arms. "They have been our partners for generations. What will they think of us if we turn against them now?" The discussion grew heated, with council members arguing both sides passionately. Some believed they should help Earth, while others warned of the dangers of angering the Draxians. The tension in the room was palpable, and Chancellor Zira struggled to maintain order. Finally, a voice rose above the others. It belonged to Ambassador Quill, a small, insect-like being with large, expressive eyes. "We must consider the bigger picture. If we ignore humanity's actions, we might underestimate their resolve. They have proven that they can adapt and fight back. The galaxy is changing, and we cannot afford to be blind to this reality." Zira nodded in agreement. "Ambassador Quill is right. We must gather intelligence on Earth's capabilities. If we can understand their advancements, we can make an informed decision on how to proceed." As the meeting continued, they discussed the possibility of sending observers to Earth. These observers would assess the situation and report back to the Council. If humanity was indeed rising as a power, it would be essential for the Council to engage with them, whether as allies or foes. Meanwhile, on Earth, the news of the victory over the Draxians spread like wildfire. Citizens celebrated in the streets, filled with newfound pride and determination. But the Council's deliberations loomed in the background, a reminder that their victory had not gone unnoticed. Back in the chamber, the Council finally reached a tentative agreement. They would send a delegation to Earth to offer diplomatic support and explore the potential for an alliance. But they were also prepared to confront the humans if they deemed it necessary. The galaxy was changing rapidly, and the Council knew they had to adapt to survive. As the meeting adjourned, Chancellor Zira looked around at her fellow members. "The actions we take now will shape the future of our galaxy. Let us tread carefully, for we stand on the brink of a new era." In the shadows of the Council chamber, a plan was being formulated. The fate of humanity and the galaxy hung in the balance, and the next steps would determine whether Earth would be embraced or opposed. Humanity strikes back. As the Galactic Council debated the fate of Earth, the spirit of humanity was at an all-time high. The victory over the Draxian supply outpost had sparked a fire in the hearts of people worldwide. Cities that had once been battered and broken now buzzed with energy and determination. In laboratories, workshops, and military bases, scientists and engineers worked day and night to build on their newfound strength. Captain Jameson and his crew on the Revenant were preparing for the next mission. They had proven their capabilities, and now they needed to capitalize on their success. Their next target was a Draxian shipyard located on a distant planet, known for constructing advanced warships. Capturing or destroying this facility would cripple the Draxians' ability to retaliate and show the galaxy that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. In a briefing room aboard the Revenant, Captain Jameson stood before his crew. "This mission will be even more dangerous than the last. We need to be smart and swift. If we can take out the shipyard, we can hinder the Draxian fleet significantly." The crew listened intently, their faces reflecting the seriousness of the mission ahead. "Do we have any intel on the defenses?" asked Lieutenant Morgan, his brow furrowed with concern. "We do," replied Dr. Chen, pointing to a holographic display of the shipyard. "Scans show that it is heavily guarded. We'll need to approach with caution. However, we also have the advantage of surprise. They will not expect an attack after our last strike." The crew nodded, determination etched on their faces, as they made final preparations for the mission. They knew that every moment counted. Meanwhile, the Draxians were scrambling to respond to the news of their losses. Their leadership was furious. Commander Vrax, a fierce Draxian general, summoned his officers to strategize. "We cannot allow these humans to undermine our power. They think they can challenge us, but they will learn their place. We must reinforce our defenses at the shipyard." Back on the Revenant, Captain Jameson's team set a course for the Draxian shipyard. The journey was tense, but the crew felt a growing sense of purpose. As they approached the planet, they activated stealth mode, making their way through the asteroid field surrounding the shipyard. When they finally reached their destination, they could see the sprawling complex below. Massive ships were being assembled, and patrols of Draxian fighters flew overhead. Jameson took a deep breath, his heart racing. "We have to be quick and efficient. We'll split into 2 teams. One will create a distraction while the other targets the main control center." The crew moved into action, adrenaline pumping through their veins. As the first team launched a series of small drones to distract the patrols, the second team stealthily approached the control center. Explosions echoed in the distance as the drones drew fire away from their path. Inside the control center, the atmosphere was tense. Draxian soldiers rushed to respond to the alarms ringing throughout the facility. Captain Jameson and his team fought fiercely, utilizing their training and the advanced weapons they had developed. The humans were no longer just defenders. They were warriors. As they fought their way through the control center, they reached the main console. "We need to shut down the shipyard operations," shouted Dr. Chen, typing frantically on the console. "If we can disrupt their assembly lines, it will take them weeks to recover." Just then, alarms blared, signaling that the Draxians were aware of their presence. The team felt the urgency mounting as Draxian reinforcements poured into the room. But they held their ground, pushing forward until Dr. Chen successfully initiated the shutdown sequence. With the shipyard in chaos, Captain Jameson and his crew made their escape, the sounds of explosions ringing in their ears. They raced back to the Revenant, adrenaline fueling their every move. As the ship blasted away from the planet, the crew felt a wave of triumph. They had struck back against the Draxians, delivering a blow that would not be forgotten. News of their success spread quickly across Earth and the galaxy, inspiring hope and courage in those who had long suffered under Draxian rule. Humanity had proven that they were no longer a silent planet. They were ready to fight for their place in the cosmos. The showdown, the victory over the Draxian shipyard, sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Humanity had proven its strength, and the news spread like wildfire. As people celebrated on Earth, the Draxian leadership was in a state of fury and disbelief. Commander Vrax knew that this could not stand. The humans had embarrassed them, and he was determined to make them pay. In the command center of the Draxian fleet, Vrax gathered his top commanders. His eyes burned with anger as he addressed them. "These humans have crossed a line. They think they can challenge us, but we will show them the true power of the Draxian Empire. We will strike back hard and make them regret their actions." The commanders nodded, their expressions serious. They understood the stakes. If they allowed humanity to continue its attacks, it would not only threaten their authority, but could inspire other planets to rise against them. Vrax ordered the fleet to prepare for a full-scale assault on Earth. Meanwhile, on the Revenant, Captain Jameson and his crew were gearing up for what they knew would be the most dangerous battle yet. They had gained the upper hand, but they also understood that the Draxians would retaliate. As the crew gathered in the briefing room, Jameson laid out the plan. "Reports indicate that the Draxian fleet is mobilizing. They are coming for us, and we need to be ready. Our objective is to protect Earth and show them that we will not back down. We will fight for our planet, and we will win." The crew nodded, their resolve strengthening with each word. They had already proven their worth, and now they had to defend what they had fought so hard to achieve. As the Revenant took its position in orbit around Earth, the crew monitored incoming Draxian ships on their radar. The massive fleet approached, darkening the sky as they prepared for their assault. Jameson felt a mix of fear and determination. This was it, the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. "Prepare for battle stations," he ordered, and the crew sprang into action, manning their posts and readying the ship for combat. The first wave of Draxian ships broke through the atmosphere, and chaos erupted. Lasers and missiles filled the air as the two fleets clashed in an epic showdown. The Revenant danced among the enemy ships, its crew firing back with precision and skill. Jameson's heart raced as he led his team into battle, their training and resolve guiding them. As the fight intensified, Captain Jameson spotted Commander Vrax's flagship amidst the chaos. Vrax had come personally to lead the attack. The sight of the massive Draxian ship fueled Jameson's determination. If they could take down Vrax, it would send a powerful message to the Draxians. "Let's take out that flagship," he shouted, steering the Revenant toward the Draxian command ship. The crew cheered, their spirits high despite the danger surrounding them. With a surge of adrenaline, the Revenant surged forward, weaving through enemy fire. The crew worked together like a well-oiled machine, firing missiles and returning fire on the Draxians. But the flagship was heavily armored and defended. "Focus on those turrets," ordered Lieutenant Morgan, targeting the weapons that were firing at them. The crew directed their fire, and one by one, the turrets exploded, reducing Vrax's defenses. As the Revenant drew closer to the flagship, Jameson felt the weight of their mission. This was not just a battle for survival. It was a fight for freedom. They had to show the galaxy that humanity would not back down. With one final push, they launched a massive barrage of missiles at the flagship's core. The explosions rocked the Draxian ship, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, with a thunderous roar, the flagship exploded in a shower of debris, marking a turning point in the battle. Cheers erupted aboard the Revenant, but there was no time to celebrate. The remaining Draxian ships were now in disarray, and Jameson knew they had to finish what they started. "Let's take them down," he shouted, rallying his crew for the final push. They had shown the Draxians that humanity was not just a small planet in the galaxy. They were warriors, ready to fight for their place among the stars. The showdown had just begun, and Earth was ready to claim its victory. The unexpected ally. As the battle raged on above Earth, the remaining Draxian ships began to retreat, their formations breaking apart in panic. Captain Jameson and his crew aboard the Revenant were caught up in the thrill of victory, but they knew the fight was not over. They needed to finish the job and protect their planet from further attacks. Just as the crew prepared to pursue the fleeing Draxians, an unexpected transmission crackled over their communication system. The voice was unfamiliar, echoing through the ship's speakers. "This is Ambassador Quill of the Lyra Coalition. We are here to assist you." Jameson furrowed his brow, glancing at Lieutenant Morgan. "What is this? Is it a trick?" He wondered aloud, but his curiosity was piqued. "Let's hear them out," Morgan suggested, turning the speakers up. Ambassador Quill's voice continued, filled with urgency. "We have watched your fight against the Draxians. You have shown great bravery, and we cannot let their tyranny continue. The Lyra Coalition has mobilized forces to aid you. We will join your battle against the remaining Draxian fleet." Jameson was surprised, but felt a wave of relief wash over him. An ally could turn the tide of the battle. "Ambassador Quill, this is Captain Jameson of the Revenant. We appreciate your support. What can you provide?" "We have several ships and skilled pilots ready to engage," Quill replied. "We can flank the Draxians from the side and cut off their escape. Together, we can end this threat once and for all." With a determined nod, Jameson replied, "We're ready to coordinate with you. Let's take the fight to them." As the communication ended, the crew of the Revenant quickly prepared to integrate with the forces of the Lyra Coalition. Moments later, they spotted sleek ships with elegant designs emerging from the shadows of the asteroid field. The Coalition ships, filled with skilled pilots from various planets, joined the fight against the Draxians. As the Coalition ships dove into the fray, the Draxian fleet struggled to regroup. They were not expecting reinforcements for the humans. The combined forces of Earth and the Coalition pressed the attack with renewed vigor. Jameson and his crew weaved through the chaos, taking advantage of the Draxians' confusion. Ambassador Quill's ships worked seamlessly alongside the Revenant, flanking the Draxian vessels and drawing their fire away from Jameson's crew. Together, they launched a coordinated assault, raining down missiles and laser fire on the remaining Draxian ships. As the battle intensified, Jameson felt a newfound energy in the air. This was more than just a fight for Earth. It was a struggle for freedom across the galaxy. Each explosion and each fallen Draxian ship symbolized hope for countless worlds suffering under the Draxian Empire. Amidst the chaos, Commander Vrax's remaining ships tried to regroup but found themselves surrounded. "We can't hold them off," one of his officers shouted as they realized their situation was dire. Back on the Revenant, Jameson's heart raced. "Let's finish this," he ordered, leading his crew into the final push. With Ambassador Quill at their side, they stormed toward Vrax's command ship. Just as they reached the flagship, an emergency signal blinked on the control panel. It was a plea for help from a nearby planet that had been under Draxian occupation. The inhabitants had seen the battle and realized they could finally fight back. Jameson paused, torn between the desire to crush the Draxians and the chance to save others. "Ambassador Quill, can we help them?" he asked urgently. Quill responded, "If we can defeat the Draxians here, we can inspire others to rise up. Let's take them down, and then we can send forces to aid the planet." With renewed determination, Jameson made the decision. "All right, focus fire on the flagship. We will finish this now and set our sights on freeing the occupied worlds next." The crew of the Revenant, along with the forces of the Lyra Coalition, launched a final assault. With each explosion, they felt the weight of their mission and the hope of countless beings across the galaxy. This was not just a battle for Earth. It was a call for freedom for all who had suffered under Draxian tyranny. The unexpected ally had turned the tide, and together, they would triumph. A new era. With the Draxian flagship in ruins and the remaining ships in full retreat, cheers erupted aboard the Revenant. Captain Jameson and his crew had fought valiantly alongside the Lyra Coalition, and together they had achieved an incredible victory. The skies above Earth were filled with debris from defeated Draxian ships, a clear sign of their downfall. As the dust settled and the last Draxian vessels fled the scene, a message from Ambassador Quill echoed through the ship. "We have shown the galaxy that we can unite against tyranny. Today marks a turning point for all of us." Jameson felt a surge of pride and relief wash over him. "Prepare to send a message to the world," he said, standing tall. "We need to let everyone know what we have accomplished together." The crew quickly worked to establish a transmission link to Earth. Soon, a large screen displayed the faces of people from around the globe, anxious and hopeful. As the feed began, Jameson stepped forward, ready to address them. "Citizens of Earth," he began, his voice steady and strong. "Today, we stand victorious against the Draxian Empire. With the help of our new allies from the Lyra Coalition, we have proven that humanity can fight back and win." The crowd cheered, and Jameson could feel the energy in the air. He continued, "This battle is just the beginning. We have shown that when we unite, we are a powerful force. We must extend our hands to other worlds suffering under Draxian rule and offer them hope and support. A new era is upon us." As Jameson spoke, the camera panned over scenes of celebration in cities around the world. People waved flags and held signs, expressing their joy and relief. The unity and strength of humanity were on full display, igniting a sense of pride across the planet. Meanwhile, back on the Revenant, the crew shared in the excitement. Lieutenant Morgan turned to Dr. Chen. "We did it. We really did it." Chen smiled, but there was also a hint of caution in her eyes. "This victory has made us a target. The Draxians won't forget this humiliation easily. We need to prepare for what comes next." As the celebrations continued, Captain Jameson gathered his crew for a meeting. "We have to be ready. The Draxians may regroup and retaliate. We must also help other planets under their control. We cannot let fear stop us." Ambassador Quill joined the meeting, his insect-like eyes shining with determination. "You are right, Captain. The Lyra Coalition stands with you. We will send ships to assist other planets in need and help them rise against their oppressors." Jameson nodded, grateful for the support. "Let's start planning our next steps. We need to map out a strategy for the upcoming missions. We can't let this victory be in vain." Days turned into weeks as the crew of the Revenant prepared for their new mission. They communicated with various worlds, offering help and resources to those who wanted to break free from Draxian control. The response was overwhelming. Planets across the galaxy began to rise, inspired by humanity's courage. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council watched from afar, astonished by the speed at which humanity was changing the narrative of the galaxy. Many members began to reconsider their previous views of Earth. They realized that humanity had the potential to become a significant player in intergalactic politics. As Captain Jameson and his crew ventured into new territories, they encountered planets filled with oppressed people yearning for freedom. Together, they formed alliances, shared technology, and planned coordinated efforts to dismantle the Draxian Empire. The Draxians, once thought invincible, were now on the defensive. Their grip on the galaxy was loosening, and the tides of power began to shift. A new era had indeed begun, a time of cooperation, unity, and resilience. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage, ready to fight for justice and equality, not just for themselves but for all who suffered. The galaxy was watching, and the spark of revolution was spreading like wildfire. A legacy of unity. As the weeks turned into months, the alliance between humanity and the Lyra Coalition grew stronger. Together, they launched missions to liberate planets oppressed by the Draxian Empire. Each victory fueled their resolve and sent ripples of hope across the galaxy. Captain Jameson and his crew aboard the Revenant became symbols of this new movement, their names spoken with respect and admiration. One day, Jameson stood on the bridge of the Revenant, gazing out at the stars. The ship was en route to a newly liberated planet, Viridia, where the inhabitants had suffered under Draxian rule for far too long. As they approached, he felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished together. "Captain," Lieutenant Morgan called, snapping Jameson from his thoughts. "We're receiving a transmission from Viridia's leaders. They want to thank us personally for our support." "Put it on screen," Jameson replied, straightening his posture. The screen flickered to life, revealing a group of Viridian leaders, their faces filled with gratitude. "Captain Jameson," one of them began, "we owe you and your crew our freedom. Your bravery inspired us to rise against the Draxians. We are forever grateful." Jameson smiled, feeling the weight of their words. "It was your courage that brought about this change. We merely provided the support you needed. Together, we are stronger." After the transmission ended, Morgan turned to Jameson, admiration shining in his eyes. "It's incredible to see the impact we've made. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for everyone." "Yes," Jameson agreed, his heart swelling with pride. "And we will continue to fight until every planet is free from tyranny." As the Revenant descended toward Viridia, the crew could see the beautiful landscapes below, lush forests, sparkling rivers, and cities bustling with life. The people had begun to rebuild their homes, and everywhere they looked, there was hope. After landing, Captain Jameson and his crew were greeted with cheers and celebrations. The Viridians welcomed them with open arms, throwing a feast in their honor. The atmosphere was filled with joy, and for the first time in years, the people of Viridia could smile without fear. During the celebration, Ambassador Quill joined Jameson, looking around at the festivities. "This is what we fought for," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Unity and freedom across the galaxy." "Yes," Jameson replied, "but this is just the beginning. We have to ensure that this legacy of unity continues. We need to create a network of planets that support each other." Ambassador Quill nodded thoughtfully. "We should establish a coalition, an alliance of planets dedicated to peace and cooperation. This could change the course of history." As the night wore on, ideas flowed freely, and plans began to take shape. They envisioned a new organization where planets could share resources, knowledge, and military support, a place where the voices of all species could be heard, ensuring that no one would suffer under tyranny again. The next morning, Jameson and Quill addressed the gathering of leaders from various liberated planets. "Today, we stand on the brink of a new era," Jameson declared. "Together, we will build a future where all beings are free. We will form the Galactic Alliance, and our mission will be to protect the innocent and ensure that no one experiences the pain of oppression again." As the crowd erupted in applause, Jameson felt a sense of fulfillment. They were not just creating an alliance, they were sowing the seeds of hope and resilience across the galaxy. Years later, as the Galactic Alliance flourished, Stories of Captain Jameson and his crew spread far and wide. They were celebrated as heroes, not just of Earth, but of all free beings. The legacy of unity they had created inspired generations to come, reminding everyone that when diverse worlds come together, they can overcome even the darkest of challenges. And so the fight for justice continued, with humanity standing tall alongside their allies, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they forged a future where peace reigned, a testament to their strength, courage, and unwavering belief in one another.